Hello and welcome to tutorial number 1 of the TourBooker system. This tutorial is going to be covering account creation and account access. Just going through the screens and basically giving you a chance to see how you go about completing the system and enabling you to get everything set up. So let's get on with things. You can see here we're into the normal login screen for the demo, and as we come in, we initially, as always, we get brought into the dashboard. Now when you first come into this, of course this will be pretty blank. You'll have nothing here and you'll have nothing here. I've already scheduled in a tour already, and there are already some make-believe bookings. But when you initially come into the system, what you need to do first of all is come up to here. Basically, we'll have a look at Joe Blogs. This is where you can basically change your name, you can, your user, email address, put in a location, whatever. Change, we always say when you initially set up, sometimes you might want to change your password, but really, if you're downloading the system and it's on your server, you shouldn't really need to do this. This would be more applicable to if you're on the pay-as-you-grow service that we offer, and then you decide to purchase the system, then certainly would be advised to change that for just for your own security. So that's that particular screen. If we go into the next screen, of course you can see here we can edit. Goes back into the access groups once more. But what is more useful here actually is to create a new user. This could be anybody. Realistically, it's we'll just say it's myself, so it's going to be David, and my last name is Keith. My username is just going to be D Keith, shall we? That's always good. Address, well, of course, that's the email address. We'll make it david.keith@thetourBooker.com. We're not going to set any location. What's my access? Now you'll notice there are 4 set access groups on the system already. Now they're just standard, but you can create your own. You can change these settings if you wish, but for the moment we're going to put me down as sales. Password, well, of course that's already been determined there. Leave blank if you want to use a randomly generated password. No, let's not do that. Let's think of something else. We'll call it it's a secret, and we'll do it again. And even a welcome email to me saying, "Hi David, here is your access details." Sorry, R, terrible English. Create a new user. So straight away we've created a new user. You can even delete me if we decide in the future it's no longer in the books. Then I can be changed. But if we go back into the staff user accounts, you can now see me here. I've never logged in, and also if I go into edit user, we can change things again if required to do so. So it's a handy thing actually. Also, if I go up into users, you can see right here it's pretty much the same kind of looking thing. So same again. But here in account, this is where we really want to get started. As you come in, first of all, you have this, your account settings, logos and appearance, custom text, and other settings. Effectively, this is where we are in this kind of bit here, okay? Custom account settings. Now, again, this is something you can change the name of the company, contact. This, if you look down the bottom, just always read these little notes. They're very useful to keep an eye on. says that this email is used as the main point of contact for all items concerning this account. So, for example, if you want to have an email address on the sales portal, which will be covered later on in a further tutorial, that's what's going to appear. So it's probably better just to keep it quite general. Of course, we've got currencies here. At the moment, we have 6 currencies: pounds sterling, euro, US dollars, Canadian dollars, Australian dollars, and Japanese yen. Well, let's stick with pounds for the moment. And you can also change your time zone as well. That's just to wherever you are in the world. So again, we'll keep it Western European time. Let's come out of that. And if I was to change anything, we just save account settings. Account information has successfully been updated. So that's that kind of one there. Now, moving on to the next menu, we've got here just a little tab across. Now, this is where it says, again, read all these things quite carefully, but if you go through methodically and logically, it's actually really straightforward. But it is worth taking time to actually, read what is there, because you may miss something. You don't have to fill out everything, of course, but the more detail and effort that you put into the beginning when you're actually creating your account, the more time you save in the long run. So coming into this is that this logo is used on headers of all pages, used to add branding to your account for displaying internally. Basically, you could put in your own logo here. Images are larger than 100 kilobytes will be rejected, so keep it small, okay? And obviously here we recommend the logo be in PNG format with an alpha transparency for best effect. Now, on the bit below it, print PDF logo, this is what will appear on sort of say passenger lists, booking confirmations. If you don't put anything in here, it will refer to what was in here anyway. Coming a bit further down the page, again, option, basically effectively other appearance options. This is just effectively you can pick and choose colours. It's what will be on printed material. For example, maybe colour bars, things like that. So if I click on here, we'll just choose that colour there, and that will be basically what appears on printed material. So it's like a little bit of colour in there. Again, you can leave that blank. It really isn't necessary to do anything to begin with. Custom text content. Now, as you can see, I've already put in a little bit of here. Demo company will always look to fulfill your requests to the full. This is actually what will appear when you're going through the booking. There's actually, later on when we actually go into the sales portal, you'll begin to see where these little bits of information crop up. And so this is more of the sort of going through process of the actual portal and booking itself. Here, terms and conditions. You can leave this blank, but it's always nice to put something in there, maybe even just a thank you, saying, thank you for booking with Demo Company, looking forward to travelling with us soon. But it's really up to you what you want to put in there. Or alternatively, you can say, be at the departure point 15 minutes before departure. Please do not have an enormous bag. It really does depend on how you want to go about that. Other settings coming over. Now this is more to do with what you see on the dashboard. Now, again, there's already predetermined. It's got here a fixed number, little checkbox that you can actually then move that to there. Fixed period showing departure over the next however many days. Again, this is a personal preference, and you can play around with this to basically suit your own sort of preference. But certainly on a fixed number, you can just basically see what's coming up. So you can see what's the next number of departures, and it'll again read here regardless of timing. Moving down to this next sub-menus here, bookings visualization. Now on this, again, this will become a bit more clear later on when we're going through the sales and the sales portal. And you can actually, what we'll do is when we're doing a trial booking, I will then refer back to the dashboard and you'll see what this actually does. But effectively what it is doing is that when a booking is in progress, it will actually show up as a little blue colour on the dashboard. on the bookings health bar. So it's a very useful function. It's great for obviously just keeping an eye on bookings that are coming in. You can see them happening, and we would always recommend a yes. Again, it's a personal choice, but really yes is a good idea to that. Again, it's successfully updated. So we've gone through these menus here. Now we need to move down the list to account locations. This is if you have a multi-location business. You've got maybe a sales office one place, an admin office elsewhere, or maybe another sales office on the other side of the world. This is where you can actually effectively add in the location name and the optional description and notes. You could just, and really again, it's an admin tool more than anything else, and it really isn't essential. Going into the next option down here on the right, referrers. Of course, we all know as part of the tour industry that we've got agents and people making referrals to our businesses, so we can add in a referrer. This could be, we'll say for an example, Visit Scotland. I'll just say it's the Edinburgh Tourist Information Centre. Is it active? Excuse me, yes it is. Excuse me. So, that's been saved. Now, coming down, we've covered the first three here already in a fairly short period of time, but this one here, booking settings. This is probably the most important of all the actual menus, because this is where we are going to be dictating what we take from passengers and customers when they're going through the bookings. So you can just have a quick look at it there just now. I've just put in here a little bit of a Waz Like Us just for fun, but we'll take that out for the moment and we'll just update. But what you will notice when we come into this menu, it immediately goes to booking settings. Now these are standard settings. You can see basically your company ID, booking ID. Really, you don't have to change that. But if you wish to do so, you can, but really it's entirely up to you. You got here manual booking reference format. Again, it basically matches the one above, but it has a letter M here, just to obviously denote that it was a manual booking. This is so that you can determine between online bookings and bookings that are taken through either your sales team or through an agent or whatever. And of course, it's just, again, it's a useful admin function to have. Notification email addresses. Now, at the moment, it's down as mine, david.keith@thetourbooker.com. But of course, depending on your business setup and your administration, you may need to require to confirm to a number of people that booking has been made. It could be even accommodation provider, so they can sort of see, right, okay, there's a booking, I'll set that room aside. Default confirmation. This is basically pretty straightforward, I think. I'll just come down slightly. But again, this is what will appear in the booking fields as people go through, and it's effectively like a little bit that comes up. But again, it'll become more clear on the sales portal. But we'll just put here hello and welcome, just for the moment, and supplements description. Just say what shall we say? Accommodation. Let's say supplements description. Please select as appropriate. Again, this is just an example, guys, but whatever you do, whenever you changes you make, always hit the save, just to make sure everything's changed. Now, let's go into the actual passenger. Let's get into more into the meat of the system. Now, I've already set up a number of fields here already, which are pretty straightforward. But let's say I wanted to add another one, then I can do so. You can either select pre-built fields, or you can even create your own. We can even do a checkbox, so you can set it as a default checked or default unchecked. and you just give it an individual name, or you can just stick to the sort of preset ones already. When you first get your system, of course, this is really down to, this is your preference, what you need, what you want from the system. And if you don't really need anything at all from that one, you can just delete it. You'll also notice here at the top, display a booking, required a booking. So yes, of course, let's display them. Why else would you have them in the first place? But you don't necessarily need to actually take the actual details. I mean, so for example, your country of origin. Do you need to take that at the point of booking? Probably not. So you can just have it as a no. But if I was to click that, of course, it becomes yes, and it becomes a requirement in the booking itself. But really, for the moment, we'll just leave that clear. Now, we haven't really made any changes, but we'll click the save booking information fields anyway. Moving along, other passengers. Again, I've already put some in here with the title, full name, and I've just actually put a little in here. Just a little thing here, confirm you're 18 years of age or older. And I've defaulted it as unchecked, so basically you have to check that, okay, if they want to go through. You may have a policy within your business that people are required to be over a certain age to travel with you. Of course, you don't have to, but really, it's a useful thing to have. Again, we're just saving as we go. Moving across, general booking fields. Bit of fun here. What is your inside leg measurement? You know, this is just where you maybe want to gather in a bit more information. You may need to know dietary requirements. Now, what I've done here is I've just put, what's the inside leg measurement? Display booking, required a booking? No, but it's an option. So that's always there for you. And also here, this is a final checklist. This is basically just, you can use this as a reminder when people are going through a booking that they know what's going on. And I've just basically put here, but again, a bit of fun. Make sure you're traveling when you're traveling with Demo Company, that you bring a sense of humour and a good rain jacket. Again, you don't have to have that. You can turn it off, you can turn it back on, but this final checklist actually does come in an unchecked form, so effectively people do have to tick that box to say, yeah, read it. Now at the moment, there are no terms and conditions uploaded, but once you do upload, of course, it will sort of determine that anyway. But if I was to click on here, what will happen, just tick that, it takes me back into account settings again, and it takes me back into this menu. And this is where we put the terms and conditions. So you can see how one refers back to the other. If we come out of that, we'll just save that for the moment. Again, if you've not changed anything, you don't need to actually update, but it just keeps you right by adopting this method. So we've covered the menus and general settings, and well, that's always good to get going. But we do need to move on to the further menus here. Portal settings. Now, this is where people come into your sales portal, and you can see straight away what we're looking at. So we've got sales portal settings. Active, yes. If I was to click this to no, and then save, this little menu up here, this little tab up there would disappear, and then when I would click it back to yes again, it would reappear up here on the right. You can set maximum number of passengers. You don't have to, of course. This information here, extended customer contact. Now, when people are going through a booking, perhaps they are struggling, they don't quite understand what's been required, they want to speak to somebody. This is where you put a telephone number. This will appear on every single page as they go through a booking. So if they have any problems, that's where they're going to go. And also here, website link, again, you can just link that back to your own website. So that's all kind of pretty standard stuff. Coming into sales portal appearance. Now, as I say, doing a little bit of messing around with this early on, and you'll see the colours that I've chosen don't always match, but they're basically give you an idea. But you can see here all the different colours, you can see everything else. What we would recommend that you do before actually making your making your own system live is use this demo. Go in, have a play around, change the colours, and then see how they actually affect the sales portal itself. and then you can have a bit of a laugh. But obviously, at the end of the day, on a more serious note, you can choose colours which actually match in pretty much perfectly. If you've got a colour code, you can pop it in here, and of course, you can match in exactly to your own website. So it's a very useful function. So you can see all the field sets, tables, everything is included in here. Interactive elements, months of display, and date pickers. Of course, that you can. There's 1 to 4 on that one. And if you do make any changes, of course, you make the save. Come back up again. Custom text content. Now, this is what when people first go into the portal to make a booking, this is what they're going to read. Now, there already is a default here, so there's a welcome to demo company real time. Now, that would obviously be your company in there, obviously not demo, and that's as standard as you like. But again, you can change this, make it more personal, make it more to your company. Going down, you've got 4 menus below this, or 4 little subsections. You've got the search pages. Now, a general search, tour availability. To be honest with you, these are just sort of minor tweaks that you can make to what people will see and read when they go into the portal. To be honest, it's not really essential that you put anything in here, but you can if you wish. And again, have a play about with it and then go into the sales portal and see what happens. But of course, do it on the demo and then you can adopt this on your own system. But realistically, you don't really need to put anything in there at all. But again, it's a useful function, and in time you may decide to maybe add little bits in there once you become more au fait with the system itself. So we've already covered the elements of the sales portal here. What they will look like will become clearer later on when in further tutorials, particularly tutorial number 3, when we actually go into the sales desk itself, which of course is this function over here on the right, and the sales portal, but we'll be covering that in tutorial number 3, like I say. Going back into account, of course, that's where we want to be for the moment. We're coming further down. Payment terms. Now, at the moment, we haven't got any payment terms, so we're going to click here to get started, and straight away, new payment terms. Now, again, what you want to be doing here is, this is where you may have the same payment term for every single tour that you do, and if you do, good. But if you have different payment terms and conditions, then this is where you can differentiate. So, for example, if you've got a day tour that you require money paid up front in advance, then you would obviously create one for that. If you have tour terms and conditions where what happens is that you're required to take a deposit, and again you can dictate that here. So what we'll do here is we'll just call this extended tours. Are we going to take a percentage? Yeah, we'll take 15. Now at the bottom section here, a bit further down, you can even see, of course, add in another intermediate payment. It's totally up to you. Balance should be paid, well, I'd say 3 months before departure. You've also got a cooling off period. Now again, you don't have to put anything in here, but because that's why it's optional. But if a booking is made after payment deadlines, but a deposit is still taken by an agent, for example, this is the amount of time before further overdue payments must be received. Leave as blank to combine all payments at time of booking. So effectively, this is afterwards. If people have got a bit of cooling off, then you can always add that in. To be honest, it's again up to you how you want to sort that out. So we've created our extended tours. First payment, we can amend that if we wish by just clicking on the cog. We can go back in and amend it, but we don't need to. If you want to produce more payment terms, then of course we just click on new payment terms and it will select something else. So very useful, of course. Now at the moment, the Tour Booker is actually designed that it can integrate into both PayPal and SagePay. Now these are primarily for when people are booking through the portal from your website. There is no option for them to basically say, we'll pay by cash. No, 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 no. That option is available to agents or to the sales desk, and they can do it that way. But certainly, when people are coming in, you want to get their cash, you want their commitment. So if it's PayPal, it's the PayPal integration, so the PayPal email, which is fine. Or you got the SagePay, where you require to, just a moment, there we are, the vendor ID, your crypt key, your notification emails, and you've got your vendor TX. Again, this is entirely up to you which gateway you want to use. Certainly you may already be linked in with SagePay, you may already be linked in with PayPal, but it needs to be for the TourBooker one of these two at this moment in time, although further development of the system will actually expand these gateways into other areas. So hopefully you're keeping up with me and you'll be able to find your way through the system itself. I hope you're already beginning to realise that it really is a relatively straightforward, easy to use system without really too much thought into how you're going to go about using the system. But certainly I hope that this little tutorial that we've done here is at least a start, and it certainly gives you an idea of how to get going. Okay, we're going to stop this tutorial here, give you guys a chance to go away, get everything sorted out, the initial round, and if you'd like to then click on tutorial number 2, where we're going to be creating and scheduling tours, which of course what is this is what the system is really all about. So I'll see you in the next tutorial. Thank you very much.